I think what is critically important is that they have found all three of those recorders, and at least the data recorder from the plane and the helicopter look to be in a good condition. They expect to get a good download there. They're going to have to do a little bit of work on the voice recorder. We learned there was water intrusion. That's not uncommon. They have a very skilled team at restoring that, but that will take a little bit more work before they'll be able to download that and begin to analyze it. I think the other thing we're hearing is that they expect the salvage effort to go on into next week. We learned earlier today that divers have sort of reached a point where they can't get any more progress in recovering remains, they think, until that airplane is out of the water. So the salvage effort becomes important not only for the investigation, but for the efforts to recover the lives lost. About 41 of the people that perished here of the 67 have been recovered. The rest, the unaccounted for, they think, are in a position in that airplane that they're going to need to get it out of the water in order to access it.
And Chris, what about the reporting that one air traffic controller was doing the job of two? That stood out to a lot of us, and he said he's getting full cooperation from air traffic control staff. That should be big going forward.
Yeah, they're going to want to understand what that controller's workflow was like leading up to that accident. But in a bigger picture, they're going to seek to understand the workflow at the Reagan National Airport control tower. In fact, we have learned it wasn't just one controller that was doing two jobs that night. It was two controllers doing the jobs essentially of four people. That may or may not result in a degradation of safety, but that is certainly something the NTSB is now going to look at, the human factors, if you will, and how that may have factored in, been one of the links in the chain that led us down the road to disaster.
Okay, Chris Van Cleve at Reagan National, thank you so much. Former NTSB Chair Robert Sumwalt joins me now. So, Robert, we were talking about the two black boxes being found, the three of them. That's very big. What do you make of that? And that they feel like there's a high level of confidence that the data on there is still good.
Absolutely, and that's certainly good news. As somebody who was at the NTSB for 15 years, we always want to make sure we can get good data off of those recorders.
How many investigations were you a part of in your career?
Well, altogether over 100. I was on scene doing the job that Todd Inman was doing for 35 accidents.
Yeah, when you hear him speak like that, talking about a high level of confidence in the data, what does that tell you?
Well, I think that's good news. The NTSB doesn't want to get ahead of itself. The fact that Member Inman is saying that he has that confidence, that I think that gives us optimism that they'll be able to get the voice data and they'll be able to get thousands of parameters off of each of those flight recorders.
And we've been talking so much this past week about the air traffic controllers. Why was the chopper in the same airspace at the same altitude as the plane? And what about the air traffic controller's role in that scenario as you could see it unfolding?
Well, Member Inman did say that, as you pointed out, they're getting full cooperation from the Air Traffic Control Organization. They've already interviewed the controller who is actively working each of those aircraft. And again, I think it's good that everybody is working well together.
The public demands answers. Everyone wants to know right away exactly what happened, right? That's how people are. What do you say to that?
Well, the NTSB is an excellent organization, and as Member Inman pointed out, they're the gold standard for accident investigation across the world. I think it's very important that they have their independence, that they exercise their independence, that they're allowed to do the job that Congress has enabled them to do. They've got the funding they need. We want to make sure they've got the funding and the resources and the time to carry out a proper investigation.
Yeah, we have to